Ooh, what's up, you guys? Void here, coming back at y'all with another 10 beautiful artwork for Magic the Gathering card list, I guess you could say it. Basically, I just look at just 10 works of art on our cards that we like to play with, and it's very noteworthy just to kind of show off a lot of this work, because again, these are just on little pieces of cardboard. I mean, a lot of these are never going to be hung in museums or anything like that. So you have to just appreciate all the effort that went into a work of art that's just going on in these little pieces of cardboard that we like to play with. And to me, that means something. And I like mentioning the artist names just so people know who they are. If you see their artwork, you might be able to identify it. I just love every single artist here on this list. Let's get into it now. First one I have here is Orzhov Guildgate by John Avon. Now this is the version of the Guildgate from, I believe, Dragon's Maze, where they actually sort of zoomed out on all the original versions of the Guildgates that they did. Both versions are still by John Avon, but this one is always going to be a little bit better. Usually when you zoom out and you see just more of the city, more detail involved, it's always going to be a little bit better. The darkest parts of the city, which is really cool, and I like it. Sort of like a haze. Just a pretty cool land. Next we have Crucible of Worlds by Ron Spencer. One of my most favorite, if not my most favorite work of art in Magic altogether. You just see all this detail here, and I don't exactly know what the hell this is, but it's brilliant. See all these twigs and vines and one of these orbs and the other orb. You just see like trees, and it's very cool, and it has sort of like an outer space vibe to it. See on the sides of these two orbs are smaller sort of like planets, I guess. But it is the Crucible of Worlds, so I'm imagining this is sort of like a biodome. I don't know exactly what it is, but I get that vibe. It's like a biodome maybe. But you just see like the usage of light here. And this is one of the coolest things about space-inspired artwork, is just the usage of light. All the different glare reflections that you can get with this type of artwork, and it definitely shows just a lot of detail here. And Ron Spencer just like hit it out of the park with this artwork here. Brilliant. And then we have Nevinyrral's Disc by Steve Argyle. Really insane. One of the few cards from the Vault series. I believe this was from Relics. It is an artifact, so that would make sense. And as a foil from the Vault, it looks brilliant. But even aside from that, it's still insane, because again, I love the usage of light in artwork, and whenever you can do it successfully, especially like this, you get sort of this energy and sort of like a reddish purple kind of glow to it, and it's just brilliant. It looks like just a ton of energy in this person's hand getting ready to just explode, and it's just a brilliant looking card, and definitely an improvement over the original artwork, which was sort of like a disc with tentacles or something and teeth. It looked really weird, but this definitely looks so much better. Absolutely love it. And then we have Stream of Unconsciousness by my personal favorite artist, Rebecca Gay. Never fails to really do a good job, even if it's on a common card, something that doesn't even see consistent play like this card does. All you just see is this beautiful wizard here just sort of laying down in this river. Whenever there's nature involved, whenever there's water, trees, Rebecca Gay never really fails to give you that same sort of feel like she does with all of her other artwork. And you get a real sort of watercolor type of look, but there's a lot of detail on top of it as well. So it's very soft. It's not something that's going to overwhelm. It's very easy to look at, very detailed at the same time. You don't have this outrageous amount of color. She does use color pretty well though. But overall, just another example why she's my favorite artist. And then we have something from another artist that I failed to mention just because I simply forgot about him. From my last video, Richard Kane Ferguson, one of those old school artists that has so many good works of art here. This one here is Recall, and I honestly don't even know what the hell it is, but then again, I don't think I really know what a lot of these things are. I don't know what Crucible of Worlds is, but then again, I still think it's a beautiful work of art. But what it appears, at least to me, to be is just some dude reading books here. You have one book that looks like it's open, wide open, and a lot of this energy coming out of it. And the other book, I don't even know if there's another book there, but it kind of looks like another book that's kind of closed maybe. But there's just so much detail here, and that seems to be the way with a lot of his other work. There's a lot of usage here when it comes to light, when it comes to variation in color. You sort of see from like yellow to green and blue, and this is far from the only card that he's done really well with. Next we have Killing Wave, another one by Steve Argyle. This is actually kind of, I don't know, a little bit unsettling, because you see Liliana here is killing angels. Kind of furthers the fact that she's kind of evil. She has an evil side to her. But just the usage of light here, yet again, very similar to Nevinyrral's disc, where you have the sort of light going through their wings, or what remains of their wings. He also did a pretty good job with Liliana herself in the artwork. Just the light passing through the wings here, and just sort of this consistent sort of red haze look to it. It definitely helps give the emotion of just dread and just chaos, what you would expect a killing wave to be. And I love it whenever the flavor just remains consistent with what the card is supposed to be as well. That never hurts. But just a pretty cool looking card. I wouldn't say it's beautiful outright, but it's definitely cool looking to me. And then we have Elder of Laurels by Therese Nielsen. This dude's pretty cool. It's definitely spooky. You can kind of see, I guess, out of like a hedge or plants, the symbol for Avacyn, or the Church of Avacyn, was made. I don't know how the hell that happened, but it's definitely spooky. But you see the people in the background. This is why it's really cool for me. I definitely like the artwork whenever you can just sort of draw people's emotions in their faces and in the background. It looks very gothic and spooky, and Therese Nielsen definitely did a very good job with sort of conveying the emotion through Innistrad. It's very spooky, definitely more of a Halloweenish type of vibe to it, which is what Innistrad really is. It's the Halloween plane. I mean, we might as well just come out and say it. But she did a very good job here. I like the detail on the clothing that they're wearing. You sort of get the whole vibe of their roles and what they're supposed to be. You just sort of see this guy, he's just inspecting what appears to be just this weird phenomena. I guess that's just what happened with the plant there. I don't exactly know what's going on. You could just definitely see just the space between the characters, just the space between sort of the background. It really helps give a sense of distance and perspective here. And I really like when artists do that, just sort of give depth to the picture. You see more detail with their faces and everything. Really cool art. She never really fails. Now we go with back-to-back Therese Nielsen's here, with which is probably at least one of my favorites, if not my most favorite one by her, Descendant's Path. Now, cool little story here was this artwork is actually a little bit of a nod to her own personal life. So you can see the little girl here holding a lamb or a little goat. I don't exactly know the difference, but you sort of get a homey feeling with this work of art, and also a nod to what she also does pretty frequently in a lot of her art. You see sort of the moons that she has. She has like a crescent moon cycle. She's also famous for doing that Gru land cycle as well. She loves sort of using the passage of time in her artwork as well, which not a lot of people do that. Not a lot of people believe that's possible, but you can actually do a good job of conveying the time in your artwork. You can use age, you can use clocks, you can use moons, you can use sunlight, anything that can sort of give you the impression of what time of the day it is, or what time of the night it is, or, you know, anything like that. It's definitely cool when you could sort of see sun angles, and, you know, she uses crescents and sort of motion at the same time here to show you kind of her life and sort of her life story, I would imagine, but we don't really know any specifics about it, but it's definitely a cool piece of art here. Just brilliant. There's so much detail, so much going on here, but it doesn't really feel uncomfortable. It feels really at ease and like it's just meant to be together. One of the biggest reasons why I like her as an artist is that she can put so much work and so much detail into every single piece that she does for this card game, and it's always going to be pretty good. Now we have another one by Richard Kane Ferguson, Nebuchadnezzar. Now, Nebuchadnezzar, for those of you who don't know, was a king of Babylon, and he's referenced in the Bible. So to put him on a card here for Legends, it makes sense. But there's just so much detail here with his cape or whatever he's wearing. There's so much detail in the staff that he's carrying. I mean, this is just what Richard Kane Ferguson does pretty well. Just puts a ton of detail into literally every single aspect of the character. It doesn't feel photorealistic, but at the same time, it just feels like an overwhelming amount of detail. And it's really done well. You see it with his facial hair. You can really tell that he's older now. He's an older character. And you could see in the background what appears to be waves. And I don't exactly know the specifics of Nebuchadnezzar, but I do know that Richard Kane Ferguson is just a brilliant artist. And he did an awesome job with this character. Then we move on to Thrax Moondoor by Raymond Swanland. Just love this dude as a commander. He's one of my favorites. Back when I first started playing Commander, he was one of the first ones I tried out with. This dude just looks menacing. He looks like a badass. You don't exactly know what the hell's going on, but that's the funniest part about this card, is that you don't really care. He's just that sharp and pointy. He's got all these different weapons, and he's just an insane badass looking dude. He's a zombie assassin. I mean, that's freaking incredible as a creature type as well. And you just get the impression here, he's gonna go out and kill a ton of people, man. It just looks brilliant. Altogether, just a menacing looking dude. And when you want to make a card art for a guy named Thraxamundar, this is definitely the way to go. I freaking love this card. So anyway, guys, that was 10 beautiful cards in Magic the Gathering. Let me know what you think are your favorite, most beautiful looking cards, and I will definitely try to consider those for future videos. Anyway, you all have a wonderful day. Void here signing off.